background, I was working on a grant basically from the CDC, which is the C3 grant, which is the Community Coalition for Change grant. And it's given to, it's usually given to the Public Health Department, but this year they wanted to change it up and actually give it to the UT Extension Program. In years past, Public Health Department would use this grant for more assessment-based and more statistical analysis. But for this year, they want to see how the UT Extension Program will actually use the money to more the promotion of healthier living as far as physical activity and nutrition. And 4 counties that we were actually focused on with this grant in the state of Tennessee was Haywood County, Humphreys County, Lauderdale, and Lake County. As I mentioned before, the nutrition was coupled with physical activity, and we're looking at reducing obesity-related issues and health outcomes from that. And to basically improve healthier living, not just for a short change, but for more of a longer change. This grant is usually this grant is actually a 3-year grant, and we just finished our first year, and so we're going to our 2nd year of this grant. So my objectives for this internship, first of all, was to review the literature. I remember going actually into Dr. Wallace's office and Dr. Devandi. We actually had a meeting together, and first thing Dr. Wallace told me was, Justin, we do not have any guidelines for you, so you're basically on your own, and you decide what to do on your own. And I was actually worried at first. I was actually worried. I was actually a little scared as to what I was supposed to be doing if I actually doing this or that. But then she said, we're actually going to create a guideline together. And so we created a guideline. And she made sure, actually both of them made sure that these objectives weren't just for this internship, but for my future, as far as what I want to do with my career, what I want to do as far as schooling and all of that. So Dr. Devani first recommended that I review the literature, basically look through everything related to rural physical activity versus urban physical activity, promotion of walkability, and assessments subjectively and objectively as far as accelerometers or as far as questionnaires. Second was traveling to the C3 counties, in which I conducted, in which I familiarized myself to the counties and to the people, individuals in those counties, so that when I travel back there, that I'll be able to, build connections and continue to ask questions, the right questions to the right people. And we conducted ask mappings also as in those counties. Then I examined walkability in those counties as well as understanding the features related to walkability. Finally, I conducted a pilot study here in Knoxville. Dr. Wallace wanted to make sure that if I did commit any mistakes, that it would be here in Knoxville, not actually out in the campus. So that's why she made me do it here first. So to review literature, I looked at rural versus urban environment, in which obviously having an urban environment, you'll be more individuals living in an urban environment are more physically active compared to rural environments. We looked also at I looked at the built environment, in which the street connectivity, accessibility of resources, safety, attractiveness, and distribution of population and traffic. Next, I looked at assessment tools. I looked at WalkScore. I'm pretty sure some of you have actually used WalkScore before. And GIS, which is Geographical Information Systems, and Community Commons. These two bottom tools actually were amazing assessment tools in which we were able to layer data such as population density, income, WalkScore, walkability, accessibility, resources, and layer all those things to see which communities actually are more walkable and more prone to physical activity. Next, I looked also at the five Ps, which are the preparation, promotion, programming, policy, and physical projects. So the final thing was that Dr. Wallace wanted me to basically morph into this guy, Mark Fenton, who is the, I guess you could say, the guru of walkability. He is amazing as far as he's the National Public Health Planning and Transportation Consultant, and he was also the former host of the American Walking Series on PBS. So he goes around to different communities and measures the walkability through audit forms and conducts audits and with other people. And so she wanted me to go out and basically become like him as far as see what he sees and understand what he understands and go on from there. So travel to the C3 counties. So we traveled June 9th and we came back on the 12th, and in 2 days in between 10th and 11th we actually traveled out to different areas. So we stayed in Dyersburg, Tennessee, and we traveled out to Lake County, Haywood County, and Lauderdale. We traveled to Lake County and we traveled to Lake County, Lauderdale on the 10th, and to Haywood on the 11th. And then 3 CDC officials were actually with us. Sarah Kester, who was the CDC program officer, Naomi Chen, who's the CDC evaluator, and Roseanne Ferris, who was the CDC branch chief. All 3 were actually on a site visit with us, so I was able to communicate with them, build connections with them, and possibly, hopefully, in the future, get recommendations from them. So I'm quickly go through like the areas, the towns, and cities that we visited. So we went to Ridgely, and we went to the different areas in this town, Senior Center, and the Team for Success Center. This was actually a before shot of the building, and then they changed it and they did construction and painting and everything, and that's what it looks like now. And we also traveled to the extension office. This one is their office they're in currently right now, and this is the office that they are actually moving to, which is across the street. We also went to Tiptonville, and we looked at various areas there as well. This one was actually one of my favorite places to visit, which is Reelfoot State Park. If you ever go out to Lake County, I know it's a very small county, but if you actually go out there, try to visit this area. It's a beautiful park, lots of wildlife and nature, and so it was an interesting place to go. We also traveled to Lauderdale, and we looked at different amenities such as schools, and we looked at senior centers and different areas that physical activity can be promoted to. As you notice, we also looked at more of nutrition. We also looked at nutrition areas as well, at places such as the farmer's stand or stores, as you've seen before, like the Dollar Generals. And we also traveled to schools. This school is actually one of my favorite schools because I actually love this basketball court that they had. They actually opened it up to the community, and the community come in and play basketball or do activities in there when school is not in session or on the weekends. And we also traveled to the extension office here and also to different areas in the downtown Ripley area. Haywood County was also an interesting place to travel to. A variety of places, different, you could say colorful people that stay there. They're very vocal as to what they want, and they also are happy that we're there to change the community to make it better. And the extension office there in Haywood County. This church was actually my second favorite place to go to, which was the Family Life Fellowship. Pastor Andre, he was actually very vocal as far as to what he wanted and the changes that he wanted. As you see that field back there, he actually planned to change that into a baseball field, into a soccer field, an area where not only just his church could go to have to be more physically active, but also to the community, to where they could come and enjoy, I guess, fellowship, you could say, and also enjoy each other's company as well as being active. Throughout these visits, we also met with coalitions. We met with extension agents. I've met with city mayors, Department of Health, church pastors, superintendents of schools, and nursing home supervisors, and also youth leaders and parks and recreation managers. So as far as my actual physical work that I've done was the pilot study in Rocky Hills, Knoxville, Tennessee, which is I don't know if you're from Tennessee, you'll know it's off North Shore and Morel Drive. So basically, I conducted a little bit more research on the area as far as looking at demographics, looking at the tools and the assessments. One thing that I did come across was the conceptual model promoted by the CDC. And we looked at specifically this perceptual qualities to making it a more walkable community. And then I went through and did mapping. So I looked at sidewalks, looked at streetlights, amenities, restaurants, walk score, street signs, traffic lights, land growth plan, and the existing land use. Then on July 6th, 2015, Yvonne and I went out to the actual neighborhood and conducted a walkability audit tool, in which we looked at, in which it was actually a assessment tool promoted by the CDC. And so we looked at these categories as far as pedestrian facilities, crosswalks, the maintenance and the sidewalks and buffers, and also aesthetics also in the area. And so we tried to keep it, we tried to do 2 audits as far as to keep the inter-rater reliability, and our scores are as follows. As you notice, our scores didn't differ. So we noticed that there's a low, pretty much a medium to low walkability ranking in this. A good ranking would be 70 above, 40 to 60 would be medium risk, and 0 to 39 would be a low risk. And we conducted on 7 different street segments. Then on August 31st, I presented to the walkability movement at the University of Tennessee. And these individuals were in on the meeting, and they are the initiators of the walkability movement. From there, we also initiated future planning. I presented the information I've learned, asset mapping and everything, and presented them opportunities and what I think they should do to promote walkability in their neighborhood. And so we planned future plans as far as creating a coalition, creating more interest, and getting more people to join in on this movement. So my closing remarks. I didn't want to go through and say everything that I actually learned as far as from the literature, but I do want to mention what I learned from morals from this internship. The first thing is connections. One thing I noticed that talking to the CDC, just getting my name out there, knowing and just talking to them, they will know who I am. They'll know they know my future plans, my goals, and my visions, and so they can possibly help me out in the future as far as recommendation-wise. I talked to Yvonne and I talked about the language that researchers speak. And it's actually completely different from if you're a student studying this field, going into a field where you actually are supposed to learn on the fly sometimes. And so the language, you don't want to seem uneducated, but you also want to seem as if you know the literature, know everything behind it. Furthermore, not everything is black and white. When I first started this internship, I assumed that I would have guidelines, have everything, finish this assignment by this date, but everything was on the go, everything was on. Dr. Wallace made sure that I didn't have guidelines specifically and assignments and due dates. She wanted me to plan everything, and there's some gray area in between also, as far as I didn't know what to do here and there. I went to Dr. Jarvani's office a couple of times, went to Dr. Wallace's office a couple of times, and we just talked about what I should be doing. Closed mouths also do not get fed, as far as if you're in front of CDC officials, ask them questions. I mean, they're not there, they shouldn't be there to intimidate you. They shouldn't be there to tell you, you shouldn't basically be quiet as far as what questions you want answered. Also, practice makes more practice. Basically, I conducted a pilot study here in Knoxville. I know that going out to rural counties, I'll make mistakes there too. And I know that Dr. Wallace will tell me to go back into the literature and do it all over again and do everything the right way next time. Limitations that I had were summer classes, scheduling. It is actually difficult to get everyone together, especially during the summertime. I've learned that the hard way. Trusting one source, I trusted one source as far as to knowing the parameters of Rocky Hill, and come to find out it was completely wrong. And so I had to go back and do the whole entire mapping all over again for different parameters. Transitioning from a UT student to an employee, I'm used to waking up at like 10 o'clock and going to class for like a few hours. But no, you're working like you're working a full-time job. So you're working a full-time job. And so it was different. And then communication, talking to everyone who's in charge, and also understanding what I should be doing. Future focus. Through this internship, Dr. Wallace has given me opportunity to continue working with the grant as far as being an assistant next year as well. And so this gave me a future focus as to traveling to the counties again with the Center for Transportation, and as well as promoting walkability in the communities. And then also programming. She said that I'll be in charge of programming as far as faith-based, school-based, senior centers, and community-wide programs. Any questions?